When night begins to gather over the desert, it does so with a tenderness that feels almost deliberate. Light doesn't disappear. It loosens, slowly, like dust slipping from a traveler's hands. What was bright becomes muted. What was harsh becomes soft, and the vast dunes, giants in daylight, relax into gentle curves as if the entire desert is exhaling after a long and brilliant day. The heat, too, steps back. You can almost feel it retreating, inch by inch, like a tide drawing away from the shore. And in that cooling hush, the first traces of life begin to stir beneath the surface. A faint rustle, a tiny shift of sand, a pair of ears, pale, luminous, impossibly large, rises like twin moons emerging from the dunes. This is the world of the Fennec fox, so small that its paws barely leave an imprint, so quiet that even the desert wind seems louder than its steps, and yet within this tiny creature lives an entire story, one shaped by resilience, instinct, and the gentle intelligence of surviving in a place sculpted by extremes. Before we follow its path into the cooling night, let us settle into the same stillness that surrounds it. Welcome to Sleepy Nature Sleep, where the wild grows soft and curiosity becomes calm. Tonight, let your thoughts follow the rhythm of the earth, your breathing settle like evening wind, and your mind wander gently through the quiet wild. Here, there is no urgency, no tasks waiting for you in the shadows, only the slow, soothing unraveling of a nighttime story, one that invites your mind to soften and your breath to lengthen. If, as we drift through this gentle landscape, your eyelids begin to grow heavy, let them. This journey is not something you must hold onto tightly. It is something that carries you, like sand carried by a soft breeze, toward rest. If these calm explorations help you unwind at the end of your day, you're welcome to quietly join our sleeping community. A like, a subscribe, or even a peaceful comment is more than enough to help these soft stories continue to reach others who may need them. Now, breathe in the cooling desert air, imagined though it may be. Feel the dunes settle, the winds hush, and your thoughts drift to the edge of starlight. Because somewhere out there, beneath the vast desert sky, a tiny fox is stepping into the night, and our journey begins with a single question whispered across the dunes. Every story in nature begins with a question, quiet, patient, carried on the wind long before any creature steps into its answer. Tonight, as the sky deepens into a darker blue and the first stars appear like small lanterns guiding the edges of the horizon, a single question rises from the heart of the Sahara. How does something so small live so gracefully in a world so vast? It is a question shaped by contrast, a creature barely the size of your hands, living in a landscape that stretches farther than the eye can follow. A fox no heavier than a loaf of bread, surviving in heat that can turn sand into shimmering waves. A soft body in a hard world. And yet, the Fennec fox not only survives here, it thrives. But thriving in the desert is not loud. It is not a conquest, not a battle cry, not a dramatic display of strength. Thriving here is quiet, subtle, almost invisible, unless you know how to look. The desert asks for efficiency. It asks for stillness. It asks for those who move gently, listen deeply, and trust the rhythms that shape each night. So the question returns, softer this time, like it is settling into your chest. What hidden wisdom does the Fennec fox carry? Wisdom that lets a tiny creature find safety, nourishment, and purpose in a place shaped by extremes. Perhaps the answer lies in its delicate footsteps, light enough not to wake the sand. Perhaps it lies in its enormous ears, tuned to the world beneath the surface. Perhaps it lies in the burrow it calls home, the cool, shadowed refuge where day slips away. Or perhaps the answer is not found in a single trait, but in the way all these pieces fit together, like a poem written in fur and instinct. Nature rarely gives us only one answer. Instead, it offers patterns, tiny moments that, when seen together, reveal something quiet and profound, something we understand, even if we cannot name it. And as you listen, you might notice your own breath falling into a gentler rhythm. Questions in nature do that. They open space, loosen tension, invite your mind to stretch out the way the dunes stretch into the night. Tonight, the question is simple. Its answer will unfold slowly, calmly, one soft detail at a time, and with each step we take into the Fennec fox's nocturnal world, we move closer to understanding how even the smallest life can belong deeply to the largest landscapes. When you're ready, the desert opens its story before us. A landscape waiting for your quiet gaze. Before we follow the Fennec fox into its moonlit wanderings, we must first take a slow, settling look at the world it calls home. Not the desert of postcards, endless golden dunes under a blazing sun, but the desert as it exists right now, in the quiet hours when heat withdraws and life steps forward on soft paws. At night, the Sahara becomes a different place. The air cools, subtle at first, like someone lowering the volume of a feverish day. Wind glides across the sand with long, unbroken breaths, smoothing yesterday's footprints and preparing a clean canvas for the creatures of the night. The dunes shift from bright ochre to muted silver, shaped not by light but by shadow. Every curve becomes a gentle slope, every rise a soft ripple frozen in time. It feels like a landscape suspended between waking and dreaming, vast but not empty, quiet but not still. You can almost imagine the temperature settling on your skin, the warm breath of the desert giving way to the cool pulse of night. In this subtle transformation, the desert reveals itself not as a barren place, but as an ecosystem that listens before it speaks. During the day, survival hides beneath the surface. Seeds sleep in the sand. Insects seek pockets of shade. Small mammals, including the Fennec fox, wait in the cool safety of underground burrows, tiny refuges carved with instinct and patience. It is a world layered with secrecy, each creature tucked into its own rhythm of rest and resilience. But when the sun slips away, those layers unfold. The desert becomes a living tapestry of nocturnal wanderers. Beetles cross the dunes with slow, deliberate steps. Owls drift through the starlit air like pale ghosts. Rodents emerge from their hidden corridors to forage in silence. And then, moving like a whisper woven into the sand, the Fennec fox steps into the open. To understand its life, we must understand the stage on which it performs, a place sculpted by temperature, scarcity, and the poetry of adaptation. The desert is not an easy home, but it is a precise one. Every creature who survives here does so through balance, timing, and small, thoughtful movements. This gentle overview becomes our grounding, a map not of geography but of atmosphere, a feeling you can return to even as the story deepens. The cool sand, the silver dunes, the quiet that feels almost like a lullaby. This is the world the Fennec fox belongs to, and the world we will now walk into together. The night has only just begun. The first steps of the fox are waiting, and the desert opens itself like a slow, drifting breath. If you were standing in the desert now, the first thing you might notice about the Fennec fox is not its size, nor its soft, pale fur. It is its ears. Large enough to seem improbable, delicate enough to resemble petals unfolding in moonlight, they rise from the fox's small head like two instruments tuned perfectly to the quiet night. Those ears are not merely beautiful. They are tools, refined by the desert, shaped by necessity, sharpened by time. To survive in this landscape, you must listen, truly listen. And the Fennec fox does. Inside each ear lies a complex network of blood vessels, helping regulate body temperature as the desert swings from scorching days to cool nights. But deeper still, beneath the fur and cartilage, is an acoustic sensitivity so precise it can detect the faintest tremor beneath the sand. Imagine that for a moment. The night is still, the dunes are unmoving, even the wind rests, and yet the fox tilts its head, ears rotating like silent receivers, catching something the world itself barely notices: a beetle shifting a grain of sand, a small rodent adjusting its nest an arm's length underground, the quiet hum of life concealed beneath the desert floor. To the fox, these are not random noises. They are coordinates, clues, a living map drawn in vibrations. Its ears pick up low-frequency sounds that you or I could never detect. A tiny heartbeat beneath the surface, the brushing of wings from an owl far beyond sight, even the soft settling of dunes in the cool night air. And as the fox listens, the desert becomes less of a mystery and more of a conversation. You might imagine the fox standing still, body loose, paws sinking gently into the sand. Its ears sweep the horizon, not with urgency, but with a kind of practiced serenity, an understanding that the world reveals itself most clearly when we are quiet enough to hear it. There is something peaceful in that, something we often forget. Most of us listen to respond. The fox listens to understand. It listens because listening is survival, but also because listening is belonging. And in this soft, moonlit scene, you may find yourself listening too. Your breathing slows, your shoulders unclench, your attention widens just a little, as if your own inner ears, gentle and unseen, begin tuning themselves to the rhythm of sand, wind, and small lives moving in silence. This is how the Fennec fox begins its night, not with movement, but with awareness, a stillness that fills rather than empties, a quiet that hums. Soon it will step forward into the dunes, but for now, the fox listens, and the desert listens back. The Fennec fox begins to move, but even as it steps onto the open sand, it remains wrapped in quiet. Its paws, small and lightly furred, touch the dunes with a softness that feels almost ceremonial, like brushing fabric rather than stepping on earth. If you stood beside it, you might not hear a single sound, not a crunch, not a shift, not even the whisper of a footprint forming. This silence is no accident. Each paw is covered in thick, velvety fur that spreads the fox's weight across the sand, too light to sink deeply, too soft to disturb what lies beneath. The desert, so easily marked by heavier creatures, accepts the fox's presence as though it were a passing breeze. Its footsteps glide. They do not press. They do not claim. In a place where heat can rise high enough to sear unprotected skin, this fur also protects the fox from scorching sand. What would burn most animals becomes merely a warm surface beneath its gentle stride. There's a kind of artistry in this movement, a precision born not from force, but from finesse. Picture the fox now, weaving between dune shadows, its pale coat blending with moonlit sand, its paws painting temporary impressions that the wind erases almost instantly. It moves with intention, but without announcement. A wanderer whose presence is felt only by those who know how to look. This ability to move silently serves many purposes. It helps the fox approach prey without warning, small insects or rodents who sense vibration far more easily than they sense sight. It also helps the fox avoid larger predators, blending into the desert's soft palette of silvers, creams, and gentle golds. But beyond the practicality, there's a deeper, quieter truth woven into these soundless steps. The desert rewards those who walk lightly. Life here is delicate, balanced on the edge of scarcity. Every creature who survives does so not by dominating the landscape, but by learning how to belong to it. The Fennec fox's footsteps are a lesson in belonging, not demanding, not disrupting, simply moving in harmony with the world beneath it. And as you imagine those tiny paws pressing softly into the cool sand, you might feel something shift inside yourself too. A loosening, a softening, a small invitation to walk gently through the thoughts that drift across your own mind. Because just like the fox, you do not need to rush. You do not need to press hard to move forward. Sometimes the quietest steps carry you the farthest. The fox continues its night wanderings now, guided by senses sharpened by desert life, stepping deeper into the dunes with effortless grace. Ahead, the air cools further. The sand settles, and a new layer of the fox's remarkable survival soon reveals itself. As the Fennec fox moves deeper into the night, the desert around it becomes a place of gentle equilibrium. Gone are the shimmering heat waves of the day, the fierce pressure of the sun, the brightness that flattens every shadow. Now, coolness spreads across the dunes like a soft blanket laid over restless earth. For most creatures, temperature is a daily challenge in the Sahara, an endless negotiation between scorching days and chillier nights. But the Fennec fox carries with it a quiet elegance in the art of staying cool, shaped by countless generations learning the rhythms of survival. Its ears, those large luminous sails rising from its head, do more than listen. They release heat with remarkable efficiency, the network of blood vessels inside them acting like delicate radiators. When the fox's body warms, blood flows through these vessels and cools again as night air brushes against the thin skin. A breath of wind becomes relief. A passing breeze becomes balance. Its fur, soft and pale, reflects sunlight rather than absorbing it, an essential shield during the bright desert day. But at night, that same fur becomes insulation, holding warmth as temperatures dip lower than many expect. Deserts are extremes, heat that can scorch, cold that can surprise. The fox carries a coat designed for both. Beneath this coat lies a compact body, small enough to lose heat efficiently and agile enough to slip through the desert's shifting terrain. Even its paws, wide, fur-padded, silent, serve as insulation and adaptation. Each step is cushioned not only for silence, but for temperature, allowing the fox to walk comfortably on sand that would burn most animals. Yet the most important strategy is the simplest one. The fox rests when the sun rules the sky. During daylight hours, it retreats into burrows carved deep beneath the surface, cool chambers lined with sand untouched by heat. Here, temperatures remain stable, shadows linger, and the world above feels distant. In these burrows, families gather, sleep, and wait for the desert to soften. Only when darkness arrives does the fox emerge, refreshed and ready to roam. There is a quiet wisdom in this rhythm, a recognition that you cannot push against the desert. You must move with it, yield when it demands rest, rise when it offers gentleness. And perhaps there is something for us in that lesson too. We spend much of our days resisting the heat of our own lives, obligations, noise, pressure. But the fox reminds us that rest is not retreat. It is strategy. It is balance. It is survival. As night settles more deeply over the dunes, the Fennec fox continues its graceful wanderings. Cool air wraps around its body, stars guide its path, and now, fully attuned to the rhythms of the night, it begins its search for food. The desert may appear still under the moonlight, but to the Fennec fox, it is a landscape humming with opportunity. Each grain of sand, each faint shift of air, each subtle tremor beneath its paws carries the promise of a meal. The fox pauses, head lifted, ears rotating with the precision of finely tuned instruments. It is listening not for what is obvious, but for what is hidden. In the Sahara, food is not plentiful, but the fox is patient, it is attentive, and it knows the secret trails that unfold only after nightfall. Insects stir first, beetles emerging from tiny tunnels, ants marching across the dunes in organized lines, moths fluttering low over desert shrubs. These small creatures form the foundation of the fox's nocturnal diet, rich in moisture and energy. But the fox's true prize often lies deeper. The rodents who sleep in burrows or scurry between pockets of shade even at night. A slight vibration catches the fox's attention, a heartbeat perhaps, or the delicate scuffling of paws beneath the sand. The fox lowers its body, weight distributed lightly, and listens again. There is no rush. The night is long, and patience is one of its most refined survival skills. With a sudden but graceful motion, the fox begins to dig, not wildly, not aggressively, but with small, efficient strokes, sand flying outward in soft arcs as it narrows in on the hidden sound. Its paws move quickly, silently, guided more by instinct than thought, and then, with a final shift of sand, a small jerboa or rodent appears, startled by the sudden breach of its underground quiet. The fox is swift, but never frantic. It captures its prey with the same lightness it brings to every movement, a blend of precision and calm efficiency. But the fox is not solely a hunter. It is also a gatherer. It nibbles on fruits from desert shrubs, laps at dew caught on sparse vegetation, and digs for roots rich with moisture. In a land where water is rare, every mouthful matters. The fox knows this deeply, instinctively, intimately. There is a quiet lesson in this moonlit hunt, a reminder that nourishment can be found in small, unexpected places, that patience, soft, steady, non-urgent, often reveals what force cannot. As the fox finishes its meal, it lifts its head again. The moon hangs low. The dunes stretch wide and silver. Somewhere in the distance, another faint sound calls to its ears. And once more, the tiny hunter moves, light on its paws, steady in its purpose, perfectly attuned to the landscape that shaped it. The desert, for all its harshness, provides what the fox needs, but only because the fox knows how to listen, how to wait, and how to move gently through the world. Long before the night invites the Fennec fox into open air, its day is spent in a world hidden beneath the dunes, a world the sun rarely touches. Down there, where the sand cools and the light dims into a muted amber glow, lies the fox's true sanctuary, its burrow. If you could follow the fox into this underground refuge, you would find a space shaped with quiet intention. These burrows are not random holes. They are intricate networks of tunnels and small chambers, carved gradually with practiced paws. Some burrows stretch several meters deep, branching like delicate roots into the earth. Others are simple, compact nests, soft curves of sand packed tightly enough to hold their shape and loose enough to remain cool to the touch. The desert above may be a place of extremities, but here, a sanctuary exists. Temperatures remain stable, moisture lingers longer, and silence wraps itself around each chamber like a gentle blanket. This is where the Fennec fox spends the hottest hours of the day, sleeping in curled, breathing bundles of fur, sometimes alone, sometimes nestled with family, kits pressed close to their mother, mates resting side by side, sharing warmth, stillness, and the simple comfort of presence. Every burrow reflects the landscape it lies beneath. Some are dug under shrubs whose roots offer shade and support. Others settle into the sides of dunes, carefully placed so shifting sands won't collapse the structure. The fox understands these details instinctively. Its survival depends on reading the land not just as a surface, but as a layered world full of subtle cues. Beneath the sand, the air carries a faint coolness tinged with the scent of earth. You might imagine how peaceful it feels. Dim, muted, safe, no harsh wind, no blinding heat, only the soft hum of a hidden life waiting for nightfall. Burrows are more than shelters. They are memory spaces. Kits are born here. Generations return to the same familiar halls. Every chamber holds stories whispered in chirps and quiet shuffles, echoes of lives lived gently yet resiliently. In this tucked-away haven, the Fennec fox rests without fear. Its heartbeat slows, its breathing settles, energy gathers quietly for the work of the night. And perhaps, in this underground calm, you feel something loosening inside yourself too. A reminder that we all need places where the world softens, where heat fades, where we can retreat to find balance again. As the final traces of daylight disappear above the dunes, the fox stirs, its eyes open, its ears twitch. The night calls softly from beyond the burrow's entrance, and once again, the fox rises to meet it, small, quiet, perfectly at home. If you were to follow the Fennec fox long enough through the dunes, you might eventually hear something unexpected, a small, delicate sound rising into the quiet desert air. Not a bark, not a growl, something gentler, a series of chirps, soft and melodic, like tiny notes carried on moonlight. The Fennec fox is one of the most vocal creatures of the desert night, but its voice is never harsh. Instead, it communicates in tender sounds, short chirps, bird-like trills, faint purrs, gentle whimpers, and soft calls that drift across the sand without disturbing the stillness. These sounds weave the fox's world together, forming a language built for closeness, connection, and quiet coordination. A single chirp might signal curiosity. A trill may express excitement as a mate approaches. A soft purring sound, yes, Fennec foxes can purr, might echo through the burrow when kits nestle against their mother. Even adults, returning from foraging, greet one another with affectionate noises, an entire vocabulary of warmth. The fox's large ears, so finely tuned for hunting, also make it deeply sensitive to the voices of its family. A kit's tiny whimper can travel through tunnels like a thread leading home. A mate's call can guide the fox across shifting dunes, grounding it in a sense of belonging, even when the landscape around it changes shape with every wind. Imagine the desert from above, silent, silver, immense. Now imagine these quiet notes, so small, so gentle, floating across that vastness, a reminder that even in the most open, lonely places, threads of connection persist. These sounds help the fox navigate its social world, but they also reflect something deeper, the instinct to reach outward, to be heard, to be understood. Even the most solitary creature carries within it the desire for recognition. And perhaps that's why these chirps feel so soothing when we imagine them. They are not alarms, they are not cries, they are invitations, little reminders that communication does not need to be loud to be meaningful. In the quiet hours of the night, as the fox pauses atop a dune and chirps softly into the open air, you may feel a kind of resonance, an echo of your own small signals sent into the world, hoping to meet understanding. The desert receives the fox's voice gently, the night holds it without judgment, and somewhere in the dunes, another fox responds, not urgently, but tenderly. A conversation begins, a bond strengthens, and beneath the starlit sky, tiny voices linger like sparks of warmth in the cool air. Soon the fox will move again, guided not only by instinct and silence, but by the subtle threads of sound that tie its world together. In the quiet expanse of the desert night, the Fennec fox moves with an ease that makes survival seem almost effortless. But beneath this grace lies a web of balance, a delicate choreography where every creature plays a role, each movement shaped by instinct, scarcity, and the shifting tides of opportunity. The fox is both predator and participant in this intricate dance. When it stalks a beetle or locates a hidden rodent beneath the sand, it does so with precision honed over thousands of generations. Its ears detect the faintest hint of motion. Its paws glide silently. Its eyes, wide and dark, gather whatever starlight the night provides. But what may appear as solitary hunting is part of a much wider rhythm, one where predator and prey sustain the ecosystem simply by being who they are. Rodents aerate the desert soil as they build their burrows, mixing nutrients and shaping microhabitats. Insects break down plant material, returning essential minerals to the sand. Plants offer shelter, moisture, and seeds that scatter across the dunes. And the fox, in turn, keeps populations balanced, ensuring that resources are never stretched too thin. It is not a battle. It is not a war. It is a slow, intricate exchange, each life feeding into the next, each action shaping the landscape in quiet ways. Imagine the fox pausing on a dune ridge now, body alert yet peaceful. Below the surface, a small rodent shifts in its burrow, sensing vibrations from above. In a nearby shrub, an insect climbs toward a droplet of dew. A nightjar glides overhead, wings brushing the air with almost imperceptible sound. All of them are part of this same choreography. To us, deserts may seem harsh. To the creatures who live here, deserts are conversations, each species speaking through movement and adaptation, each responding to the others in subtle, interconnected ways. The fox, with its gentle steps and sharp senses, reads this landscape the way some read a map. Every sound is a signal, every scent a thread, every vibration a clue. It acts with intention, but also with restraint, taking only what it needs, guided by the natural cycles that govern each night. And when the fox finishes a meal, it does not linger in triumph. It simply moves on, becoming once again a quiet wanderer beneath the stars. There is a soft wisdom embedded in this balance, one we often forget in our louder, faster world. Nature does not waste. It does not rush. It does not take more than it requires. The dance continues, night after night, because each creature knows its part and follows it with quiet respect. As the fox slips down the slope of a dune, disappearing briefly into shadow, the desert adjusts around it, breathing, shifting, continuing the rhythm that has guided countless nights before. As the Fennec fox continues its journey across the moonlit dunes, its eyes, large, dark, and gleaming, become its quiet lanterns. In daylight, those eyes remain protected, half closed, shaded by long lashes that shield them from the desert sun. But at night, they open fully, transforming into wide, luminous pools that gather every trace of light the sky has to offer. The desert may seem dim to us, but to the fox, the night glows. Its eyes contain a structure known as the tapetum lucidum, a reflective layer behind the retina that sends light back through the visual cells a second time. What little illumination exists, starlight, moonlight, the faint shimmer of cool sand, becomes amplified, transformed into a soft, silvery world where shadows gain definition and movement becomes music. Imagine standing where the fox stands. The dunes stretch in long, gentle arcs. A breeze lifts grains of sand into swirling ribbons. Far above, constellations glow in perfect silence. To human eyes, these shapes blur into darkness. To the fox, they paint a landscape rich with subtle detail, edges sharpened by faint light, paths illuminated by contrast invisible to us. With each step, the fox's eyes sweep the terrain. They catch the quick flicker of a beetle shifting direction. They notice the soft indentation where a rodent has surfaced moments before. They trace the faint outline of a shrub that might hold dew or fruit. Even the direction of wind becomes visible in the way sand drifts across the surface. This heightened vision does not turn night into day. It turns night into clarity. And clarity is survival. Yet there is something poetic in the way the fox sees. Its world is not defined by brightness, but by soft gradients, gentle glimmers, silhouettes brushed with starlight. The desert becomes a dream-like canvas, quiet, muted, tender in its darkness. Sometimes the fox pauses, lifting its head to gaze across the horizon. Its eyes reflect the moon, tiny crescents of light shimmering within them. It is a moment of stillness so delicate that even the desert wind seems to slow, as though honoring the creature's night-bound vision. In this pause, the fox is not searching for prey or scanning for danger. It is simply being, a small luminous presence in a vast, ancient landscape, a creature perfectly designed for the world it inhabits. And perhaps you too feel a shift inside as you imagine those shimmering eyes, a softening, a widening, a sense that darkness is not emptiness but depth, that the unseen holds beauty. That calm perception often reveals more than intense focus. With eyes that gather starlight and paws that barely disturb the sand, the Fennec fox continues its quiet journey into the night, trusting what it sees, trusting what it senses, trusting the desert that shaped it. In a landscape shaped by thirst, the Fennec fox moves with an understanding of moisture that borders on intuition. Water is rare in the Sahara, so rare that most creatures survive without ever drinking it directly. Instead, they chase its traces, droplets caught on plants, juices inside insects, moisture concealed deep within roots. For the fox, scent becomes its quiet guide. Its nose, small and velvety, is far more powerful than its delicate appearance suggests. Every inhale gathers layers of information. The earthy sweetness of desert grasses, the faint mineral aroma of dew settling on a rock, the subtle fragrance of a fruit-bearing shrub beneath a dune's shadow. Under the coolness of night, scents unfold like soft pathways. The fox pauses, nostrils lifting slightly. A shift in the breeze carries a whisper, something green, something alive. It steps toward the source, paws sinking gently into the sand, ears rotating to confirm what its nose has already begun to detect. Plants that survive the Sahara, like saltbush or desert melon, hold water deep within their tissues. Their scent changes subtly when they draw moisture from the earth, and the fox senses these shifts with remarkable precision. A faint sweetness, a slightly richer aroma. That is enough. A promise of hydration, hidden within fibrous leaves or tender stems. It's easy to imagine the scene from above. The fox weaving between dunes with quiet purpose, guided not by sight or sound, but by invisible threads of scent drifting across the air. When it finds a plant worth investigating, it approaches gently, lowering its head to nibble on leaves or dig lightly for roots. Each mouthful offers not just nourishment, but moisture, small, vital droplets woven into the fabric of desert life. Insects, too, provide hydration. Beetles contain water pulled from the plants they feed on. Moths hold tiny reservoirs in their bodies. Even the soft-bodied larvae sleeping beneath damp patches of sand become hidden wells for a fox who knows where to look. Nothing in the desert is wasted. Nothing is taken for granted. And the fox, with its quiet awareness, teaches us that survival is not always about seeking abundance. It is often about sensing subtlety. The smallest hint of water becomes a pathway. The faintest fragrance becomes enough. There is something calming in that idea, a reminder that life often continues not through grand solutions, but through gentle awareness of what is already present, already offering itself in small, delicate ways. As the fox lifts its head once more, its muzzle dusted lightly with sand, it inhales deeply. Another scent, another direction, another quiet promise carried by the night air. With renewed energy, it steps forward, following moisture wherever it may lead across the cool, silver dunes. Even in the stillness of night, the desert carries memories of the day, heat lingering beneath the dunes, grains of sand shifted by afternoon winds, patterns etched lightly across the surface. But sometimes, even after sunset, the air stirs with a stronger force. A wind picks up, a whisper becomes a breath. A breath becomes a moving veil of sand drifting across the dunes. The Fennec fox does not fear this. It understands the language of wind. Sandstorms in the Sahara can arrive suddenly, blooming from the horizon like rising clouds. But at night, they tend to be gentler. Thin sheets of airborne sand gliding low, brushing the ground like fingers smoothing fabric. To us, they may seem unsettling. To the fox, they are part of the desert's natural rhythm. Its ears dip slightly, instinctively adjusting to block the sharpest gusts. Its eyes narrow just enough to protect against the fine grains swirling in the air. Its fur, dense and soft, forms a protective shield that keeps its body warm and its skin safe. Most important of all, the fox knows exactly how to move when sand begins to whisper. It lowers its body closer to the ground, where the air is calmer. It turns its face slightly sideways so the wind flows past its profile instead of hitting it head-on. Its steps become even lighter, more deliberate, guided by memory as much as by sense, because in the desert, every dune has its own shape, every valley its own familiar curve. While the wind reshapes the surface, deeper layers remain steady. The fox reads those deeper cues instinctively, a slight firmness beneath a paw, a faint scent clinging to sheltered sand, a vibration carried through the ground rather than the air. These signals help it navigate when the world above grows blurred, and there is a quiet beauty in these moments. The wind hums softly. Sand drifts like a thin, golden mist illuminated by the moon. The fox moves through it effortlessly, a pale silhouette gliding through a shifting dreamscape. Sandstorms, even the light ones, reveal something essential about desert life. Everything here adapts to change. No shape stays permanent. No path remains fixed. The world is always being rewritten by wind and time, and survival comes not from resisting this, but from flowing with it. Perhaps that is why the fox seems so calm as the breeze strengthens around it. It does not brace against change. It rides with it, trusting the desert's movements as if they were an extension of its own. In the hush of swirling sand, the fox presses onward, ears tuned, eyes narrowed, paws confident. The storm is only temporary. The night is still young, and the desert, even in motion, remains its home. Though the desert may look unchanging to those who only glimpse it from afar, the Fennec fox knows better. Beneath its vast, shimmering surface, the Sahara shifts through seasons just as surely as forests turn leaves or oceans change tides, and the fox, small as it is, feels every transformation, each subtle breath of warmth, each quiet cooling, each change in scent, sound, and rhythm. In the height of summer, days stretch like molten gold. Heat pools in the dunes, sinking deep into the sand. Even the wind carries warmth, brushing the landscape with fingers that burn rather than soothe. During this time, the fox retreats even deeper into its burrow, resting in chambers where the sun cannot follow. Night becomes its sanctuary, and foraging hours shorten as it conserves energy in the relentless heat. Then comes winter, when the desert surprises those who imagine it as eternally scorching. The air cools sharply. Moonlit dunes glisten like silver frost. In some regions, temperatures fall low enough that the fox's coat thickens, softening into a denser layer that turns each breath into a warm cloud drifting into the night. Its paws press into chilled sand, leaving fleeting prints that disappear with the morning wind. Between these extremes lies a gentler season, spring. The desert blooms in its own quiet way. Small flowers unfurl beneath shrubs, insects become more abundant, and the fox finds new scents drifting across the dunes. This is a time of renewal, when life moves just a little easier and the world seems to hum with possibility. Autumn, too, brings its own subtle shift. Nights cool, food patterns change, plants retreat into themselves, conserving moisture, and the fox adjusts, reading the landscape through instinct written into its bones. Each season carries its own lessons, and the Fennec fox listens to everyone. It does not resist the desert's demands. It moves with them. It trusts them. Imagine the fox now, standing on a dune ridge as the wind carries the scent of a new season. Its ears tilt. Its nose lifts. Something in the night feels different, something the fox cannot name, but understands deeply. And isn't that how change often arrives for us too? Not with announcements, not with clarity, but with a subtle shift in the air, a feeling that something familiar is transforming, and that we, gently and quietly, must transform with it. The fox embodies this truth. It survives not through force, but through attunement. Seasons do not threaten it, they guide it. As the dunes reshape under moonlight and time, the fox moves on, light, graceful, and ready for whatever the desert chooses to become next. The crescent moon hangs low over the desert, its thin arc tracing a gentle glow across the dunes. To some, this light might feel faint, barely enough to see by. But to the Fennec fox, it is more than enough. It is a quiet invitation, a signal that the night is unfolding in full and that the time for foraging has begun. The fox emerges from the shelter of a dune, its body poised between alertness and calm. Each step is light, deliberate, guided by senses sharpened by countless nights just like this one. It moves in a slow, wandering pattern, never straight, always listening, always sensing. For the fox, foraging is not a hurried task. It is a wandering, a gentle exploration of the desert's offerings. A faint rustle pulls its attention toward a patch of vegetation clinging to the dune's base. The fox approaches, lowering its head to sniff the leaves. Desert plants often store pockets of moisture deep within their fibers, and the fox knows how to detect freshness in even the driest-looking stems. It nibbles at the edges, gathering both nourishment and hydration in tiny, efficient bites. A few steps later, the fox pauses again, ears rising, nose quivering. Something stirs beneath the sand, a small insect, perhaps a beetle returning from its nightly climb. The fox digs lightly, paws moving in soft arcs until the insect reveals itself. A quick bite, a swallow, and the desert, in its own quiet way, gives a little more life. In the stillness, the fox's movements seem almost meditative. It is not frantic. It is not searching with desperation. It is simply participating in the cycles of the night, guided by instinct, shaped by patience, and supported by countless small offerings the desert hides beneath its surface. Sometimes the fox pauses for reasons that have nothing to do with food. It stands at the crest of a dune, letting the night breeze lift its fur. Its ears sweep gently left and right, scanning for sounds yet unmade. Its eyes reflect the moon, turning them into silver pools that flicker with the faintest light. In these moments, foraging becomes something more, a communion with the landscape, a way of moving through the world, not as a conqueror, but as a quiet guest who understands the rules of the house. Even the fox's breath blends into the silence, a soft rhythm matching the slow rise and fall of the dunes themselves. As the night deepens, the fox will continue this gentle journey, sniffing for roots, listening for insects, pausing to taste the moisture hiding inside tiny desert fruits. Here in the silver glow of the crescent moon, survival is not a struggle. It is a dance of attention, a conversation with the earth, a series of small, graceful exchanges between creature and land. And with every mouthful taken, every sound interpreted, every quiet moment honored, the fox moves deeper into the heart of its night, steady, nourished, and at ease. To most eyes, a Fennec fox's burrow is nothing more than a small hole pressed into the side of a dune, a brief indentation, a shadow where sand collapses slightly inward. But this simplicity is an illusion, because beneath the surface, the fox becomes an engineer, carving out a world far more intricate than anyone might expect from such a tiny creature. With paws no larger than a child's thumb, the fox shapes tunnels several meters long. They twist and curve with intention, built to maximize coolness, minimize exposure, and protect against predators. Each chamber is placed with quiet wisdom, some for resting, some for raising kits, some for temporary escape should the desert demand sudden retreat. The fox digs not with force, but with finesse. You can imagine it now. The rhythmic scrape of its paws, soft and steady, sand shifting in small cascades, its body moving in smooth, practiced motions as if the desert itself were guiding its work. Its fur shields it from abrasive grains. Its whiskers detect vibrations within the burrow walls. Its senses remain alive even in darkness, allowing it to navigate the underground maze with perfect ease. In many ways, the burrow is a living structure, one that evolves over time. The fox expands it as seasons change, adds new chambers when kits are born, strengthens its walls after heavy winds reshape the dunes above. Some burrows are shared by small family groups, forming a quiet network of connected tunnels where warmth, safety, and presence become communal gifts. These underground homes also play a subtle ecological role. As the fox digs, it aerates the sand, allowing moisture to settle deeper into the ground and helping certain desert plants thrive. Tiny insects find refuge in abandoned tunnels. Seeds drift into shaded crevices, protected from harsh sun, until conditions allow them to grow. In shaping its shelter, the fox shapes the desert itself. There is something deeply soothing in this idea that even the smallest creature contributes to the breath and pulse of its environment. That survival is not just about taking from a place, but building within it, participating in its quiet architecture. Imagine standing above the fox's burrow at dawn. The sand beneath your feet hides a world of winding rooms where the air is cool, the shadows soft, and the silence deep enough to cradle entire families. The fox rests there, curled in warmth and safety, trusting the structure it shaped with its own delicate paws. And when night comes again, it will emerge, gently, gracefully, returning to the open dunes with the quiet confidence of one who knows it has a home waiting beneath the shifting sands. The tiny engineer steps forward once more, guided by instinct, memory, and the desert's slow, patient rhythm. Long before the Fennec fox first walked across these dunes, the Sahara was a different world. A world of shifting climates and ancient rhythms, some gentle, some dramatic, all shaping the creatures who would eventually call this vast desert home. If you could peel back time layer by layer, you would see the sand beneath the fox's paws carrying memories older than any footprint. There were eras when this land bloomed with lakes and sweeping grasslands, times when rivers wound through valleys, now buried beneath dunes, moments when the air held the calls of animals long since gone, their shapes etched into fossils hidden in the earth. The desert remembers all of it, and though the Fennec fox is small, it belongs to this long history. Its body is a collection of adaptations crafted by landscapes that shifted, hardened, softened, and shifted again. Every trait it carries, its ears, its fur, its delicate paws, echoes a dialogue between creature and land that has continued for thousands of years. Imagine the fox pausing on a tall dune now, the moon painting its silhouette in pale silver. Below it lies a sea of ancient sand, each grain a tiny piece of time. Wind carries whispers of eras the fox will never know, yet somehow still understands. This instinctual understanding is part of its heritage. It moves with a confidence shaped not by its own lifetime, but by countless generations that learned how to read this world, how to survive its heat, how to navigate its darkness, how to listen to its secrets. When the fox digs a burrow, it trusts the firmness of the dunes because its ancestors learned which slopes hold steady and which will collapse. When it follows the scent of moisture, it draws on patterns honored by hundreds of seasons. When it lifts its ears to the wind, it listens with knowledge older than memory. In this way, the Fennec fox carries the desert story inside its very being. And you might feel, as you picture this tiny creature in moonlight, a sense of perspective settling gently around you. A reminder that life is not merely shaped by the present moment, but by histories we rarely see. Quiet forces that guide our instincts, influence our decisions, and steady our steps even when the path ahead feels uncertain. The fox does not question the desert's vastness. It simply moves through it, trusting what has been passed down through time. As the wind brushes across the dunes, it carries both the cool breath of night and the ancient echoes that shaped this land. The fox listens, paws planted softly in sand that has witnessed worlds rise and fall. And then, with a small shift of weight and a gentle exhale, it continues on, a modern wanderer walking across an ancient sea. The desert at night is a world made of subtleties, shadows that shift with the wind, vibrations that hum through the sand, scents so faint they feel almost imagined. For the Fennec fox, these subtleties are its map, its guide, its way of understanding everything the eye cannot see. To watch the fox navigate this landscape is to witness a kind of quiet magic, a creature attuned so completely to its environment that the unseen becomes as clear as starlight. It begins with the fox's whiskers, long and sensitive, vibrating gently with the slightest movement of air. These whiskers act like extensions of its awareness, detecting obstacles, openings, and even the faint tremors left behind by insects moving underground. As the fox moves, the whiskers sweep softly through the air, reading the world like fingertips brushing over a textured surface. Its paws, too, sense more than warmth or sand. They pick up vibrations coursing beneath the surface, whispering of creatures burrowed just inches below. A single delicate tremor, a hint of shifting soil, is enough to tell the fox not only where something hides, but how recently it was there and in which direction it moved. Then there is scent. Not the bold fragrances humans know, but the faintest hints carried on the breeze, a patch of vegetation disturbed by a passing beetle, the warmth of a rodent's breath lingering in the opening of a burrow, the subtle mineral scent rising from cool sand before dawn. To the fox, these cues sketch the outlines of hidden stories unfolding all around it. But perhaps the most striking sense is the fox's ability to interpret these signs with effortless clarity. It does not hesitate. It does not question. It simply trusts the information carried in each whisper of wind, each vibration, each flicker of scent. Imagine the fox now, standing atop a gentle slope of sand, barely illuminated by starlight. It closes its eyes, not to rest, but to feel more deeply. A breeze carries a subtle shift. The fox tilts its head. Somewhere beneath the surface, something moves. Something small. Something hidden. Without opening its eyes, the fox steps forward, guided by senses that reach beyond sight. This ability to sense the unseen teaches a lesson wrapped in calmness, that much of life's movement happens quietly, below the surface, that not everything important is visible, that sometimes understanding comes not from looking harder, but from listening more gently. For the Fennec fox, this awareness is survival. For us, imagining it may become a kind of rest, an invitation to soften our attention, to notice the subtle, to trust what we feel even when it isn't visible. With each silent step, the fox continues into the night, reading a world woven from vibrations, scents, and quiet, invisible threads. In a place as demanding as the Sahara, survival often evokes images of strength, endurance, and dramatic struggle. But the Fennec fox survives through gentleness, through softness used not as weakness, but as quiet strategy. Its fur, so plush and pale, is one such strategy. Not only does it protect the fox from scorching heat and biting cold, but it also muffles sound, allowing every step to blend into the desert silence. Its small size, which might seem like a disadvantage in a harsh environment, actually helps it conserve energy and slip into crevices where larger predators cannot follow. Even its behavior is shaped by softness. It avoids confrontation. It maneuvers around danger. It chooses patience over force. And in this gentle approach, it thrives. Imagine the fox now, moving along the base of a dune just before dawn. Its tail, a long, fluffy plume, drifts behind it, balancing each step and brushing lightly against the sand. The fox stops occasionally, not in alarm, but in contemplation, sensing the world before continuing. Softness is its way of reading the desert. The fox changes its activity based on temperature, sound, and scent. When winds pick up, it lowers its profile. When heat rises, it rests. When prey hides deeply, the fox waits rather than wasting precious energy digging endlessly. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is forced. This philosophy of gentleness is woven into every part of its life. Kits are raised in warm burrows where the parents interact with a surprising tenderness, nuzzling, grooming, chirping softly to reassure one another. When the family ventures outside, the adults guide the young not through commands, but through calm presence and example. Even feeding behaviors reflect softness. The fox never takes more than it needs. It eats little at a time, spreading its foraging across the night rather than hoarding or dominating food sources. In a world where scarcity often pushes creatures toward aggression, the Fennec fox lives through balance. Its survival is a reminder that gentleness can be a form of intelligence, a way of conserving strength, a way of living harmoniously with a landscape that rewards quiet, mindful presence. Perhaps you feel that resonance inside yourself, the kind that arrives when you watch something small thrive through softness rather than force. A part of you may recognize that this, too, is a path to move gently through the world, to adapt fluidly, to rest when needed, to trust subtle intuition over constant striving. The fox pauses once more, eyes half closed, ears relaxed. Dawn is not far away now. The sky begins its slow shift toward pale blue, and the desert prepares for another cycle of extremes. But for this moment, everything is peaceful. The harshness of the world softens, and the fox, small, quiet, steady, continues to thrive in its own delicate way. To human ears, the desert at night may seem silent, an expanse of stillness beneath a sky scattered with stars. But to the Fennec fox, silence is a myth. The night is alive with its own quiet symphony, a chorus so delicate and layered that only those who truly listen can hear its song. It begins softly. A beetle taps its way across a dune, its tiny feet leaving a faint trail in the sand. The wind, barely more than a sigh, shifts grains in slow, whispering waves. Somewhere in the distance, a nightjar calls, a gentle, pulsing note that rises and falls like breath. The fox pauses, ears lifted, eyes half closed. It listens not with urgency, but with familiarity, as though hearing an old lullaby played for the 1,000th time. Every sound helps the fox understand the night, where danger lies, where food may be found, where other foxes roam. Yet there is no tension in its listening, only calm attention, a presence so complete it feels like meditation. A rodent rustles beneath the sand, creating a small ripple of vibration. The fox tilts its head. An insect's wings flutter briefly before they settle again. The fox registers the sound, but does not chase. Not every note in this nighttime chorus calls for action. Some simply anchor the fox within its world, reminding it that it is surrounded by life, even in the quietest hours. Above, the sky deepens into velvety blue. Stars shimmer with a steadiness that never seems hurried. The moon casts a pale glow that softens every edge of the dunes. Even the shadows feel gentle here, elongated, smooth, and patient. As the fox walks, its paws add their own soft rhythm, a faint thump of sand compressing, almost musical in its repetition. When the fox chirps, a small melodic call, the desert absorbs it beautifully. The sound does not echo sharply. It blends into the tapestry of nighttime noises, a single note woven seamlessly into a symphony of subtle living. This chorus is not loud. It does not demand attention. It simply exists, steady, ancient, and woven into the identity of the desert itself. In listening to it, the fox becomes part of something larger than its tiny frame. It is both observer and participant, solitary wanderer and member of an unseen community that thrives in darkness. And perhaps, as you listen through imagination, you feel a similar settling inside yourself, a sense of being held by quiet, of belonging to a rhythm larger than your own thoughts. The fox resumes its walk, guided by sound as much as by instinct. The chorus continues around it, gentle and unbroken, accompanying the fox across the cool dunes. Soon, the first hints of dawn will appear. But for now, the night sings softly, and the fox moves with perfect ease within its song. The desert can appear empty at night, a blank canvas of gently sloping dunes, untouched and undefined. But to the Fennec fox, this emptiness is an illusion. The sand is inscribed with faint, shifting pathways, trails of scent, traces of movement, vibrations lingering like soft echoes. These are not roads in the human sense, but subtle signatures written by the night itself. As the fox steps forward, its paws leaving only the lightest impressions, it follows these unseen paths with practiced ease. Each route is familiar, though never identical. Wind reshapes the dunes daily, erasing visual markers. But the fox does not rely on what the eye sees. It relies on a deeper memory, an internal map drawn from scent, sound, and instinct passed down through generations. Imagine standing beside the fox now, watching it pause atop a dune. The moon hangs low, its light scattering across the sand like brushed silver. The fox lifts its head, nostrils flaring gently, catching a familiar scent carried on a cool breeze. A shrub where dew collects, a burrow where prey often stirs, a sheltered hollow where the sand remains firm beneath its steps. These cues form a constellation of guidance, faint but reliable. The fox descends the dune in a graceful diagonal motion, avoiding steep slopes where sand might collapse. Its tail flows behind it like a soft, balancing plume. At the base, it pauses again, ears rotating toward a faint rustle. Confirmation that the path is leading it exactly where it should go. There is a calm confidence in the fox's movements, a trust in the landscape that may appear unpredictable to others. But the fox does not see chaos. It sees continuity, an ever-changing world that nonetheless carries familiar rhythms. Its path curves around a cluster of desert grass. It skirts the edge of a shallow depression. It pauses at a small mound of sand, sniffing deeply before continuing. Each choice, each adjustment, each gentle turn reveals a creature in dialogue with its environment, speaking a quiet, intuitive language. In this way, the fox teaches a subtle lesson that forward movement does not always require certainty. Sometimes it requires only attentiveness, softness, and trust in the small signals that guide us. Even when the landscape shifts, especially when it shifts, there are still paths beneath our feet, written not in stone, but in moment-to-moment awareness. The fox continues its moonlit journey, weaving between dunes with the ease of one who belongs completely. Its path may not be visible to us, but it is clear to the fox, drawn by senses attuned to the night's delicate messages. Soon, the journey will lead it back toward family, warmth, and the promise of rest. But for now, it moves forward, following the quiet lines the moonlight reveals. Though the Fennec fox often wanders alone through the dunes, it is far from a solitary creature. Its heart, its rhythms, its sense of belonging all connect deeply to the small family group it calls home. Beneath the vast desert sky, in a world that can feel endlessly open, family becomes the fox's anchor, its quiet center. Imagine now a burrow tucked beneath the curved shadow of a dune. Inside, the air is cool and dim. The sandy walls glow faintly with filtered moonlight seeping through tiny cracks near the entrance. Here, the fox's family rests, a mated pair curled close together, their bodies forming a warm cradle. Young kits nestled into every curve, their tiny bodies rising and falling with the soft rhythm of sleep. The bond between Fennec foxes is tender, surprisingly so for a species that lives in such a harsh environment. Parents groom one another, nibbling gently behind ears, smoothing fur with small, affectionate motions that seem almost ceremonial. They chirp softly in a language made of intimacy rather than urgency. These sounds fill the burrow like lullabies woven into sand and shadow. When kits are born, they arrive blind and nearly helpless. Yet, they are never alone. Their parents stay close, warming them, nursing them, watching over them with diligence that feels almost human in its devotion. The father often brings food back to the burrow, offering it gently before settling beside his mate. The mother, in turn, teaches the kits their first lessons in scent, sound, and touch. As the young grow, they begin to explore the burrow's winding tunnels, stumbling with soft, uncertain steps. Their high-pitched chirps echo faintly, bouncing off the smooth walls like tiny bells. Occasionally, they tumble over each other in clumsy play, scattering sand in little bursts of motion. Their parents watch with patient eyes, intervening only with the gentlest nudge or a reassuring sound. This family structure is more than emotional comfort. It is survival. The desert demands cooperation. A lone fox may be skilled, but a bonded pair raises kits more successfully, defends the burrow more effectively, and shares the labor of foraging and rest. Above ground, when the fox returns from a night of wandering, its approach is met with greeting. A mate emerges from the burrow entrance, ears perked, tail waving with delicate excitement. They touch noses, exchange soft chirps, and settle briefly beside one another before slipping back underground. In this quiet, loving connection lies a simple truth. Even in a landscape defined by scarcity and extremes, connection persists, warmth persists, care persists. And as you picture this small family beneath the sand, breathing gently in sync, you may feel your own breath settling too, finding a rhythm that mirrors the calm of creatures who know they are not alone in the vast desert night. In the hidden chambers beneath the dunes, life begins quietly. Fennec fox kits enter the world fragile and blind, their fur barely more than a soft down covering their tiny bodies. Yet from the moment they take their first breath, they are wrapped in a cocoon of warmth, care, and gentle sound. Their early days unfold in darkness, not the cold emptiness of night, but a warm, protective dimness filled with the scent of sand and the soft breaths of family. Here, the moon is not seen, but it is felt. Its cycle shapes the rhythm of their parents' comings and goings, marking the nights when hunting is easiest, when light is brightest, when the air is cool enough for longer foraging. The mother rarely leaves the burrow at first, staying curled around her kits, grooming them with small, rhythmic licks. Her soft chirps provide reassurance, signaling that the world above may be vast and unpredictable, but down here, all is safe. The father gathers food, returning with insects, roots, or small prey carried carefully in his jaws. He sets them down gently at the burrow entrance, watching over his family with a calm protectiveness. As days pass, the kits open their eyes to a world of warm shadows and muted shapes. Their first steps are unsteady, paws wobbling on the loose sand, but their curiosity is boundless. They explore tunnels with enthusiasm that often ends in gentle tumbles or unexpected slides down sloped passages. Their tiny chirps echo off the burrow walls like playful sparks of sound. Above ground, the desert continues its eternal cycle, sun blazing, winds shifting, moon rising. Below ground, growth happens slowly, beautifully, like flowers blooming in the dark. When the kits are finally strong enough to follow their parents outside, the world greets them with a softness unique to the desert dusk. The sky glows lavender, the sand cools beneath their paws, and the wind carries scents they could never have imagined. Plants, insects, distant animals, and the immense open space that will one day become their nightly realm. Their first ventures are short, supervised, and cautious. A quick sniff of the air, a surprised hop at the sight of a beetle, a nervous glance back at their parents, who remain close, attentive, ready to comfort them with a chirp or a touch. Bit by bit, the youngsters learn how to listen to the sand, how to follow the wind, how to sense hidden water, how to move with the quiet grace the desert demands. Growing up here is not easy, but it is gentle. A balance of protection and exploration, safety and discovery. And as the young foxes take their first steps under the moon's soft glow, the desert holds them the way it holds every creature who belongs to it, with patience, with quiet, and with endless space to become who they are meant to be. To walk through the Sahara is to walk through a landscape that remembers, though its memory is not kept in words or symbols, but in shape and silence. Every dune is a record of wind, time, and the countless small lives that have passed across its surface. The sand shifts, yes, but it also stores echoes of pause, of storms, of ages long before the first fennec fox ever curled into a cool burrow. The fox moves lightly across these dunes, unaware that each step writes a temporary mark in this vast book of sand. The dunes hold these marks for only moments before the wind reclaims them, smoothing the surface into near perfection. Yet even erased, those impressions linger in the desert's quiet memory. It makes you wonder, what does a landscape remember? Perhaps it remembers the cool breath of dawn, the moment when the first breeze of morning rolls over the sand. Perhaps it remembers migrations, herds of animals that once walked where only foxes tread today. Perhaps it remembers water, ancient lakes now hidden in the earth, faint traces of moisture gathered in forgotten pockets. Or perhaps its memories are not of events at all, but of rhythms. The rhythm of wind shifting from east to west. The rhythm of seasons cresting and retreating. The rhythm of a tiny fox returning each night to the same ridge, the same hollow, the same familiar curve in the land. To the desert, nothing is permanent. Everything is a moment. Yet every moment contributes to the whole. The fennec fox, small as it is, becomes part of this slow memory. Its tunnels aerate the sand. Its foraging patterns shape where insects thrive. Its presence, year after year, weaves another subtle thread into the tapestry of the land. There is something comforting in that even the gentlest creature leaves an imprint, not one that endures in a visible way, but one the desert absorbs, like a whispered story carried on a breeze. And perhaps you feel that comfort settle inside you as well. We often think memory must be firm, lasting, undeniable. But nature shows us another kind, a memory that softens, shifts, dissolves, yet still matters. A memory held not through rigidity, but through repetition, through small, steady acts that echo across time. As the fox stands at the crest of a dune, the wind lifting its fur, the desert receives the moment with its usual stillness. No grand mark is left behind. No monument rises from the sand. Only the soft, fleeting impression of presence, a presence the desert quietly folds into itself. And in that gentle folding, the fox becomes part of something far larger than its tiny frame, the memory of dunes shaped by wind, life, and quiet motion. Intelligence in the human world is often measured by complexity, by problem-solving, memory, speed, invention. But the desert teaches a different kind of wisdom. Its intelligence is not loud or analytical. It is quiet, instinctive, and deeply attuned to balance. The fennec fox embodies this desert intelligence with every step it takes. Look at how it moves, never wasting energy, never rushing unless absolutely necessary, always choosing the softest path across the sand. It is not laziness. It is efficiency refined by countless generations, an intelligence shaped not by thought, but by listening to the land. The desert is harsh, yes, but it is also precise. Every living thing that survives here must learn its rhythms, its rules, its soft thresholds. Plants know how to conserve water. Insects know how to burrow deeply enough to escape heat. Birds know how to ride winds that rise at dusk and fade before dawn. And the Fennec fox knows how to weave all these lessons into a single, seamless life. Its intelligence is not a spark. It is a slow, glowing ember. When it emerges from its burrow, it does so at the moment when the sand is cool, but still carries the day's warmth. When it hunts, it listens first, saving its strength for the exact moment of movement. When it digs, it shapes tunnels that do more than protect. It engineers airflow, temperature, and safety with surprising finesse. This is not instinct alone. It is a kind of knowing passed from earth into body, from parent into kit, from generation into generation. The desert has carved its wisdom into the fox as surely as wind carves patterns into the dunes. And when you think about it, really think about it, perhaps the softest intelligence is the kind that doesn't announce itself, the kind that doesn't seek attention, the kind that simply adapts, responds, listens, and moves in harmony with its surroundings. Imagine the fox now, sitting quietly beside a shrub whose shadow stretches long across the sand. It tilts its head as the breeze shifts, catching a subtle scent. Its eyes narrow, not in tension, but in comprehension. It understands what the desert is telling it. No rush, no force, just gentle awareness, enough to guide the next step. There is beauty in that. A reminder that intelligence doesn't need to be grand to be profound. Sometimes it is found in the smallest lives, navigating the largest landscapes with grace. As the fox rises and continues its journey, it carries the desert's quiet wisdom in every movement. And for a moment, you might feel that wisdom touching your own breath, encouraging you to slow, to sense, to listen deeply. Because intelligence, in nature's language, often begins with stillness. Adaptation is often described as a series of biological adjustments: ears grown large, fur grown thick, paws shaped just so. But in the Fennec fox, adaptation becomes something more than function. It becomes poetry, a quiet verse written in bone, fur, instinct and movement across the desert's endless expanse. Look at its ears, rising like pale crescents under the moon. They are tools, yes, designed to release heat, to catch the faintest sound, but they also express the desert's voice, wide, attentive, always listening. They mirror the openness of the dunes themselves, soft slopes that wait for the wind before they shift. Its fur, pale as sand at dawn, does more than regulate temperature. It carries the colors of its landscape, allowing the fox to blend seamlessly into the desert's palette. Seen from a distance, fox and dune become one poem written in matching tones: cream, silver, gold. Its paws, with fur thick enough to soften each step, hold a rhythm that reflects the desert's own softness. Despite its reputation for harshness, the Sahara is a land shaped by gentleness, wind sculpting dunes, shadows stretching like long, quiet sighs, creatures moving lightly to conserve energy. The fox follows this softness effortlessly, adapting not by fighting the land, but by echoing its calm. Even its size, so small, so delicate, carries meaning. Smaller bodies require less nourishment, less water, less energy. In a place where scarcity rules, the fox's diminutive form becomes a poem of sufficiency, small but enough, tiny but perfectly fitted to its world. Imagine the fox now, perched on a dune, its figure almost fluid beneath the moonlight. Every part of its being exists because the desert sculpted it, slowly, gently, insistently. And yet, adaptation, is not a one-way shaping. The fox also shapes the desert. Its burrows create microhabitats. Its hunting patterns influence insect populations. Its presence becomes another line in the ever-expanding poem of the Sahara. This reciprocity, this quiet give and take, reveals the deeper truth of adaptation. It is a relationship, not a reaction, a conversation between creature and land. Perhaps that is why the fox moves with such grace. It is not resisting the desert, it is dancing with it. And as you picture this tiny creature navigating dunes that have existed for thousands of years, you may feel something inside you soften, a realization that adaptation in our own lives can also be gentle, not abrupt, not forceful, but gradual, attentive, shaped by small shifts in the world around us. The fox turns its head toward a breeze carrying new scents. Its ears rise. Its body stills. Even now, adaptation is happening, quiet, instinctive, seamless. A living poem moving through a landscape of endless verses. In many places, seasons announce themselves boldly, trees shedding leaves in cascades of color, storms rolling over coastlines, snow blanketing forests overnight. But in the Sahara, the seasons are quieter. They slip in gently, felt more than seen, sensed through subtle changes in wind, scent, and temperature. The Fennec fox reads these changes the way one might read slow poetry, line by line, softly, patiently. As spring arrives, the desert wakes with small surprises. Tiny flowers bloom in unlikely spaces. Insects become more abundant, drifting through the air or scuttling beneath shrubs. The fox explores this renewed world with measured excitement, savoring each new scent carried on warm breezes. In summer, heat rises like a vast, shimmering veil. The sun becomes a powerful presence, relentless, bright, and steady. The fox responds by retreating deeper into its burrow during the day, surrendering to the shade rather than resisting the blaze. Its world becomes one of cool sand, dim light, and rest until the desert's fiery breath softens again at night. Autumn brings balance. Temperatures ease, winds shift, and the fox moves more freely. The air feels lighter. The nights grow longer, offering more time to forage and explore. It is a season of rhythm, a slow inhale after summer's long-held breath. Winter arrives quietly, its presence felt in the chilled touch of the sand and the crispness of the air. The fox's fur thickens, softening into a warm coat that insulates its tiny frame. Even in this cooler season, the fox moves with grace, adapting seamlessly to the desert's subtle transformations. Watching the fox live through these transitions is like witnessing the desert breathe, expanding, contracting, shifting between tension and ease. The fox does not resist these cycles. It does not cling to one season or fear the arrival of another. Instead, it moves within them, allowing each phase to guide its actions. Its life is shaped by rhythms rather than rigid plans, by awareness rather than control. And perhaps, as you imagine these cycles unfolding across the dunes, you feel a softening inside yourself, a reminder that your own life, too, moves through seasons. Seasons of warmth, seasons of quiet, seasons of rest, seasons of change. The desert teaches us that breath doesn't always come evenly. Sometimes it stretches long, sometimes it shortens, but always it returns. As the Fennec fox lifts its head to the evening wind, sensing the subtle shift from one season to the next, it does so with calm trust. The desert inhales, the desert exhales, and the fox, small yet wise, follows its rhythm with gentle certainty. In a landscape as vast and seemingly barren as the Sahara, it is easy to imagine each creature surviving entirely on its own, isolated in its struggle against heat and scarcity. But when you look more closely, gently, patiently, you begin to see an intricate web of cooperation woven beneath the surface, a network of quiet relationships, each subtle yet essential. The Fennec fox is one thread in this network. Consider the small shrubs that anchor themselves in shifting sand. Their roots stabilize dunes, create pockets of shade, and gather precious moisture deep below. Insects shelter in these roots. Rodents burrow nearby, seeking the coolness these plants provide. The fox, in turn, hunts the insects and rodents, keeping populations balanced and the delicate desert cycle in motion. Every life touches another. When the fox digs its burrow, it aerates the sand, allowing moisture to settle deeper into the ground. Seeds carried by wind lodge themselves in these loosened pockets and eventually sprout, small plants that provide food and shelter to more creatures. The fox doesn't intend to cultivate its environment, yet its actions quietly shape the desert's resilience. Even scavengers play their part. Beetles and ants break down leftover food, returning nutrients to the soil. Birds spread seeds far beyond the reach of wind alone. Termites build mounds that alter airflow and influence the patterns of sand dunes. The desert, so often portrayed as empty, is full of subtle exchanges. These exchanges are not loud. They are not dramatic. They do not follow the kind of cooperation humans might label as teamwork, but they form a living symphony, a balance maintained not through force, but through gentle coexistence. And the Fennec fox contributes to this balance with every soft step it takes. When food is scarce, the fox adapts its diet, easing pressure on any one species. When winds reshape the dunes, the fox finds new routes, leaving older pathways undisturbed so plants and insects can reclaim them. When the fox moves through its territory, it leaves behind scent markers that help avoid unnecessary conflict with others of its kind, each respecting the space of another. There is a generosity to this way of living, a quiet acknowledgement that survival is shared, not owned. It is a philosophy not declared in words, but expressed through instinct and rhythm, a kind of unspoken agreement that life continues most peacefully when each creature honors the needs of the others. Perhaps this is the desert's greatest secret, not its harshness, not its emptiness, but its quiet cooperation. As the fox pauses beside a shrub, listening to the small movements beneath it, the desert folds around the moment with gentle harmony, a reminder that even in solitude, no life truly moves alone. In the desert, every moment feels fragile. Winds reshape the dunes, heat presses and retreats, shadows shift like tides. Yet beneath this constant change lies a steady truth. Everything here moves in cycles. Beginnings fold into endings, endings become beginnings again, and the Fennec fox lives gently inside these circles. Consider the tiny seeds lying dormant beneath the sand. Weeks, months, sometimes years may pass before they feel the right blend of moisture and warmth. Then, quietly, they begin to split. A thin root reaches downward. A fragile stem reaches up. Life begins almost invisibly, unfolding without fanfare. The fox moves through these cycles with a similar softness. When prey populations rise, it eats what the land offers. When they fall, it shifts its habits, relying more on plants or insects. Nothing is forced. Nothing is taken beyond what is needed. Each adjustment becomes part of the larger rhythm, the weaving of survival into the desert's tapestry. And what about endings? Even they carry a kind of grace here. A dried plant becomes shelter for insects. An abandoned burrow becomes a refuge for small creatures seeking warmth. The fox's own footprints fade quickly, erased by morning winds. An ending made peaceful, temporary, natural. Everything returns. Everything continues. Even the fox's nightly wanderings mirror this cycle. It leaves its burrow when darkness deepens, walks a wide loop across familiar dunes, listens to the chorus of the desert, finds nourishment, senses water, traces memories in scent and vibration. And then, as dawn begins to gather along the horizon, it turns back toward home. The night ends, but the ending is soft, not abrupt, a gentle return. In the burrow, the fox curls into the sand's cool embrace. Its breathing slows. The world above grows bright again, harsh again, but down here, rest unfolds. And that rest is a beginning, a renewal that prepares the fox for another night, another journey, another quiet circle. Perhaps you feel this rhythm inside yourself too, the recognition that your own days and nights carry cycles, moments of movement, moments of retreat, moments of letting go, moments of beginning again. Nature rarely rushes these transitions. It turns them slowly, like pages in a book softened by time. The fox does not resist this turning. It follows the cycle with trust. As dawn sweeps across the desert, painting the sand in pale gold, the fox disappears into its burrow, ending one chapter, beginning the next in the same soft motion. And above, the dunes wait, ready to receive the fox's return when the moon rises once again. In the modern world, rest is often treated as a pause, an interruption in productivity, a moment of stopping rather than a rhythm of living. But the desert teaches a different truth. Here, rest is woven into existence itself, as essential as heat, wind, or movement. The Fennec fox understands this instinctively. During the day, temperatures soar. The sand grows hot enough to scorch unprotected skin. Plants curl inward to conserve moisture. Insects retreat beneath stones. Even the wind quiets, burdened by heat. And the fox slips into rest, not reluctantly, not as a last resort, but as a natural part of its cycle. Deep within its burrow, it curls into a compact shape. Its breathing slows, its muscles release. The quiet below ground becomes a sanctuary where the world's brightness softens into muted gold, where time passes differently, less like a march, more like a slow drift. This rest is not wasteful. It is wise. It preserves energy for the cooler hours when the desert becomes generous again. Nature, in its simplicity, shows what we often forget. Rest is not the opposite of action. It is the foundation that makes action sustainable. Consider the dunes. They shift and reshape, but only when the wind rises. Between storms, they settle, still, silent, storing potential. Consider desert plants. They bloom briefly, beautifully, only after long periods of conserving strength. Consider the wide sky. Even the sun rests, sinking below the horizon so night can take its gentle turn. Rest is part of the cycle, not an interruption in it. And the fox demonstrates this harmony with every day it spends beneath the sand. Its rest is deliberate, attentive, complete. It surrenders fully to stillness, trusting that stillness is what allows life to continue, not halt. Imagine the fox now, asleep in the coolness of its burrow. Its ears twitch slightly at distant vibrations, but its body remains relaxed. Above ground, The desert simmering in midday heat feels like another world entirely. Yet the fox remains untroubled, knowing this rest is not absence, it is preparation. There is a lesson here waiting quietly in the sand. That rest comes not from stopping everything, but from allowing the world to continue without demanding your constant participation. That rest can be soft, effortless, a returning, not a retreat. When dusk finally arrives, and the fox emerges once more into a cooling desert, it does so renewed, its body ready, its senses awakened. Nature has taught it well. Rest is not something to earn, it is something to honor. In a place as vast as the Sahara, home is not defined by walls or boundaries. It is not a fixed point on a map, nor a place marked by permanence. For the Fennec fox, home is something softer, more fluid, something felt rather than held. The fox's burrow may be the center of its world, the place where warmth gathers and family rests, but its sense of home stretches far beyond the hollow beneath the sand. It extends across the dunes, through the silver glow of moonlit nights, through the scent trails it follows and the familiar breezes that guide its steps. Home for the fox is a pattern, a set of gentle rhythms repeated night after night. The curve of a dune it climbs each evening, the sheltered hollow where cool air always lingers, the shrub that holds dew just long enough for a morning drink, the distant rise where it pauses to listen to the desert's quiet chorus. None of these places remain unchanged forever. Winds reshape the dunes, seasons alter the scents, paths shift as sand drifts, but the fox adapts, creating a new home each night simply by moving through the world with familiarity and ease. There is wisdom in this way of belonging, that home is not something fragile that can be lost, but something carried in instinct, in memory, in the soft knowing of one's own place in the world. Imagine the fox now, returning from a long night of foraging. The sky has begun to pale. A faint blue light touches the dunes, signaling the slow approach of dawn. The fox follows the subtle scents and slopes that lead back to its burrow, moving with the confidence of one who knows that home is never far, no matter how much the landscape shifts. As it reaches the entrance, the fox pauses. It looks back at the soft expanse it has traveled, miles of sand glowing gently in first light. There is no fear in this gaze, no hesitation, only recognition. This too is home. The journey, the searching, the quiet understanding that belonging can be found in motion as much as in stillness. Perhaps you feel a soft echo of that truth within yourself. That home is not always a single place. Sometimes it is a feeling of alignment, a breath that settles comfortably, a moment when you realize you are exactly where you need to be. The fox turns and slips into its burrow, greeted by warmth and familiar scent. Above ground, the desert brightens. Below, in soft shadow, the fox curls into rest. Its home is not the sand alone, nor the night alone, but the quiet that guides it between the two. The desert night has its own kind of circle, a slow turning from stillness to movement, from exploration to return. And as the Fennec fox wanders across the last stretch of moonlit sand, that circle begins to close gently, quietly, like a breath completing its arc. The sky lightens almost imperceptibly, the black blue of night softening into the palest shade of morning. The stars, once sharp pinpoints, begin to blur at their edges. Even the wind, which carried the fox so many scents across the hours, eases into a cooler, calmer breeze. The fox pauses at the crest of a dune. Behind it lies the night's entire journey, paths traced through silver sand, hidden meals gathered from beneath the surface, sounds interpreted, scents followed, questions asked and answered in the language of the wild. Ahead lies the quiet of its burrow, waiting with the same faithful stillness it offers every dawn. Here, at the boundary between night and day, the fox stands in a moment of gentle transition. It is neither fully moving nor fully resting, neither hunting nor hiding. It simply is, complete in its presence, balanced in its belonging. The circles of its life echo through this moment. The circle of the hunt, beginning and ending with a still breath. The circle of seasons, turning with subtle shifts of wind and scent. The circle of family, where each return brings warmth, reassurance, and quiet connection. The circle of rest and waking, guided not by clocks, but by the rising and falling of desert light. And woven through these natural rhythms is something deeper, the circle of understanding that forms when a creature is perfectly aligned with its world. The fox does not question its place in these cycles. It trusts them, leans into them, moves within them as easily as moonlight brushes the dunes. As you imagine the fox standing there, breath slow, ears relaxed, perhaps you feel a stillness begin to gather inside yourself too, a settling, a quiet exhale. We too live in circles of effort and rest, of searching and returning, of learning and letting go. But we often rush through them, forgetting that each part serves its purpose, that stillness is as important as motion. The fox reminds us that every journey, no matter how long or winding, eventually leads back to calm. That returning is natural. That pausing is part of progress. The first birds begin their distant morning calls, soft and unhurried. The sky grows brighter at the horizon. The fox lowers its head, blinks slowly, and begins its gentle descent toward home. Night's circle closes, and the stillness of dawn opens its arms. At the beginning of the night, we stepped into the desert with a simple question. How does something so small live so gracefully in a world so vast? It hovered above the dunes like a quiet star, soft and persistent, guiding our attention toward the tiny wanderer beneath the moon. Now, as dawn stretches across the horizon and the fox makes its way home, that question returns, gentler now, shaped by everything we've witnessed. The fox pauses near a low ridge, scanning the land one last time with tired but peaceful eyes. Around it, the desert is waking in slow, measured breaths. The faint glow of morning dust, the subtle warming of sand, the hush before the day's heat begins to rise. In this fading moment of night, the question feels less like something to answer and more like something to understand. The fox's grace is not a mystery after all. It is a conversation, a lifelong dialogue with the land. It survives because it listens, because it moves softly, because it adapts with patience rather than force, because it trusts rhythms older than itself, written not in books but in wind, in shadow, in instinct. Grace in the desert is the result of harmony. The fox is not trying to conquer the dunes. It is not fighting the nights or resisting the heat. Instead, it aligns itself with everything around it. The temperature of sand, the scent of moisture, the music of the night's chorus, the invisible pathways beneath the surface. Perhaps this is the quiet answer to the question beneath the dunes. that even the smallest creatures thrive when they find a balance between effort and ease, between action and rest, between self and environment. The fox resumes its slow journey, leaving faint traces of movement behind it, prints soon to be erased by the morning breeze. And you may find yourself reflecting on your own landscapes, your own vastness, your own nights that feel wide and endless. The fox reminds us that smallness is not fragility. It can be an advantage, a way of noticing details that larger beings overlook, a way of moving thoughtfully in a world that often rushes past its own beauty. The horizon continues to brighten. Soft gold washes over the dunes, and the fox, tiny but sure, walks steadily toward the entrance of its burrow. A place shaped by its own paws, warm with memory, waiting with quiet welcome. The question that began the night now settles like sand returning to stillness. There is no grand revelation, no dramatic answer, just understanding, gentle as dawn, deep as the desert itself. As the desert slowly yields to dawn, the movements within it soften. Even the creatures who remain awake tread more gently, as though honoring the night's final moments before daylight settles across the dunes. The Fennec fox, nearing the end of its journey, pauses beneath a low rise. Its paws, which carried it across miles of cool sand, now move with a slower rhythm, soft, deliberate, almost sleepy. These are night's softest footsteps, the last whispers of a creature shaped by darkness before it surrenders to the embrace of its burrow. Above, the sky brightens into a pale watercolor wash, lavender, blush, and the faintest blue. Stars dim until they feel more imagined than real, and the moon, once a glowing guide, hangs low and tired at the horizon, as if it too is ready to rest. The fox lowers its head, blinking gently, its long lashes catching the new light. Its ears swivel once more, gathering the final murmurs of the night world, the fading trill of an insect, the distant rustle of a bird adjusting its wings, the soft rhythmic breathing of the dunes as the wind calms. Everything is quieter now. It is a sacred kind of quiet, not emptiness but completion, a silence that follows a story well lived, a silence full of meaning. The fox steps forward again, leaving faint prints that will soon be erased by the warming wind. Its tail brushes the sand in a slow arc, balancing each gentle movement. If you imagine yourself walking beside it, you may feel your own steps slowing, the muscles in your shoulders unwinding, your breath aligning with the hush of morning. The world feels lighter here, unburdened, as though the night has gathered all its wandering thoughts and placed them softly at the edge of the dunes. In these early hours, the desert is a place of transition, a threshold between motion and rest. The fox embodies this transition perfectly. It does not rush to escape the coming heat, nor does it linger unnecessarily. It simply moves with the same quiet wisdom that carried it through the night. Night's softest footsteps lead the fox home. As it nears its burrow, the first direct rays of sunlight stretch across the horizon, brushing its fur with a warm glow. The fox pauses on the threshold, listening one last time to the fading song of the night. A small sigh escapes its body, almost inaudible but deeply felt. It is the sound of completion, of release, and then, with one final glance at the brightening dunes, the fox disappears into the cool shadows of its burrow, leaving the desert to its waking. The steps of the night have ended. Now comes stillness. The desert enters its quietest moment, just as the fox slips into the cool shadows of its burrow. Above ground, Light begins to spread across the dunes, soft at first, then gradually stronger, warming the sand that held the night's secrets. Below ground, the world remains dim, cool, hushed, the perfect cradle for rest. Inside the burrow, the fox settles into a familiar hollow, shaped over time by its own body. The sand here is cool and fine, a soft cushion that molds to the fox's curled form. Its tail wraps gently around its face, shielding it from stray grains that drift through the entrance as wind shifts above. The space is small, intimate in the way all safe places are. Shadows stretch softly across the walls, turning the burrow into a warm, earthen chamber. The fox's breathing slows, each inhale and exhale blending seamlessly with the desert's quiet rhythm. This is where the wild sleeps, not in grand nests or towering shelters, not in heavily fortified dens or elaborate structures, but in simple spaces shaped by instinct and earth, places hidden from the sun, shaped by generations of knowing what the land can hold. The fox's ears twitch only slightly now, still alert but softened by drowsiness. Its paws, which carried it across the entire night, loosen their gentle curl. The energy of hunting, listening, and wandering dissolves into stillness. Above ground, heat rises. Waves shimmer across the dunes like ribbons of glass. Plants tighten their leaves to preserve moisture. Insects retreat to the shelter of rocks or burrows of their own. The desert becomes a world of rest, a great expanse holding its breath until evening cool returns. And yet, even in this daytime hush, life continues, unseen, unhurried, protected beneath the surface. Perhaps this is why the fox's rest feels sacred. It is a surrender not to vulnerability, but to trust. A trust in its burrow, in its environment, in the cycle that carries night into morning, and morning back into night. There is no fear here, no tension in the fox's small body, only release. As the fox drifts into sleep, its world narrows to quiet senses, the faint scent of sand, the gentle pressure of earth supporting its frame, the muffled vibrations of wind above, softened by layers of dune. It dreams in darkness, of moonlit paths, of rustling prey, of cool breezes weaving through its fur. And as you imagine this little creature resting in the safest corner of its world, you may feel a similar softening within yourself. A reminder that rest can be simple, that safety can be found in small, quiet spaces, that the wild, even in its vastness, knows how to sleep. Here, beneath the weight of warm sand and the hush of morning, the fox lets go, and so may you. As the sun rises higher, the desert shifts into a world of brightness and shimmering heat. But down below, in the fox's quiet burrow, morning arrives like a distant echo, softened, muted, and slowed by layers of cool sand. The light that just moments ago poured across the dunes now filters into the burrow as a faint golden haze, touching the walls without ever reaching the fox itself. It is a gentle reminder of the world continuing above, but it asks nothing of the fox. No movement, no attention, no effort. The fox breathes deeply, its small chest rising and falling in a slow, rhythmic pattern. Each breath is unhurried, as if shaped by the calm of the earth surrounding it. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of sand warmed by sunlight far overhead. Outside, waves of heat shimmer across the dunes, bending the horizon into soft mirages. But these changes feel remote, like distant memories rather than immediate demands. The fox remains curled in its familiar hollow, perfectly at ease, protected from everything the day holds. Inside the burrow, shadows stretch and soften. There's no sharpness here, no harsh contrasts, only the warm blending of light and dark. It is a world designed for rest, a sanctuary untouched by urgency. And as the fox sinks deeper into sleep, the desert above seems to honor its stillness. Wind slows, birdsong quiets, even the shifting sands pause in their endless rearranging, as if giving the small creature beneath them space to drift further into peaceful dreaming. If you listen closely, with the imagination rather than the ear, you might almost hear the gentle rhythm of the fox's sleep. A breath in, a breath out, steady as the desert's own heartbeat. There is something deeply soothing in these moments, a reminder that life moves in waves, times of motion, times of stillness, times of bright activity, and times of quiet surrender. The fox is living the surrender now, fully, peacefully, with no resistance. And perhaps, as you picture the fading light above the dunes, you feel your own tension loosening, your breath lengthening, your thoughts softening, like sand settling into place after a long, wandering wind. Nothing is requested of you in this moment. Nothing is required. Just this, to let the light fade a little, to let the warmth settle, to let your mind drift the way the desert drifts, slowly, effortlessly, towards stillness. The fox sleeps on, safe in its earthen home, and the world above glows with quiet light, waiting patiently for evening to arrive once more. Above the resting fox, the desert settles into its quiet midday hum. Heat rises in soft, wavering curtains, bending the air into shimmering bands of light. But even in this brightness, the desert carries a gentleness, a slow, steady breath that drifts across the dunes like a lullaby made of wind. The breeze moves carefully now, without rush, curling over the sand in long, sweeping strokes. It brushes the tops of hardy shrubs, stirs faint ripples along dune ridges, and loosens only the lightest grains before setting them down again with delicate intention. Every movement is softened, as though the desert itself is choosing quiet over motion. If you imagine watching from above, you would see a landscape that, despite its harsh reputation, looks peaceful, almost drowsy. The shadows shorten, the light deepens to warm gold, and the wind, though warm, carries a soothing consistency, like a hand moving slowly across a blanket. Below the surface, the fox remains asleep. The breeze does not reach it directly, but the burrow feels the subtle shift in temperature. Warmth seeps gently into the tunnel walls, and the fox curls tighter, adjusting with instinctive comfort. It does not wake. Its breathing stays steady and slow, the rhythm of a creature utterly safe. The desert listens to that rhythm. In the cool hours of night, the fox listens to the desert, to its whispers, its changes, its hidden signs. Now, as the fox sleeps, it is the desert that listens in return. A quiet reciprocity, a mutual trust, a balance formed over countless generations. There is a serenity in this exchange, a softness that asks nothing and gives everything. Imagine the breeze now, passing over the dunes and carrying with it a warm hush. A hush that encourages stillness. A hush that invites rest. A hush that wraps itself around everything it touches. And perhaps, as you picture this vast, sunlit quiet, you feel something in yourself slow down as well. Your breath begins to match the desert breeze, long, unforced, peaceful. Your thoughts loosen, drifting like grains of sand that no longer cling to each other. Nothing stirs sharply. Nothing calls for action. The day is bright but gentle. The desert is vast but calm, and deep within it, The smallest of its wanderers sleeps without fear, trusting the earth to hold it through the warm hours. Let the breeze pass. Let the sands warm. Let your own thoughts soften into something spacious and easy. The fox dreams on, and the desert keeps its quiet vigil, slow and steady as breath. When the day reaches its warmest hours, the desert's rhythm slows to almost nothing. Heat stretches across the dunes in shimmering waves, blurring the horizon until sky and sand seem to melt into each other. But beneath this stillness lies a quiet, steady heartbeat, the subtle pulse of a landscape resting, waiting, breathing. You can feel it if you imagine yourself there. The hum of warmth rising from the ground, the faint trembling of air just above the sand, the soft, nearly inaudible sound of grit shifting one grain at a time. This is the desert's heartbeat, slow, patient, vast, and somewhere within this heat-softened world, the Fennec fox sleeps deeply in its burrow. Its tiny heartbeat syncs with the desert's rhythm in a way that feels almost like a lullaby. Each breath it takes settles into the silence, becoming part of the land's long exhale. The fox doesn't rush through rest. It doesn't resist stillness. It allows its small body to yield entirely to the quiet, trusting the burrow, trusting the sand, trusting the day to pass gently overhead. Above ground, life moves at the slowest possible pace. A lone beetle walks in a meandering path, pausing between each step. A desert sparrow perches beneath a patch of shade, feathers puffed lightly as it waits for the heat to fade. Even the wind seems tired, dragging its fingers softly through the dunes rather than pushing them aloud. There is no urgency here, only the long, quiet heartbeat of a place that has known rest for thousands of years. And perhaps, as you listen to this imagined heartbeat, you begin to feel your own slowdown. Breath deepens, muscles loosen, thoughts untangle themselves and sink into calmer patterns. Because the desert reminds us, stillness is not emptiness, it is presence. It is awareness softened to its simplest form. It is the world holding its breath in a peaceful pause. The fox shifts gently in its sleep, adjusting its curled position. Sand molds around its body, supporting every contour, cradling every moment of its rest. Even in sleep, it remains connected to the land, a tiny part of the desert's vast heartbeat. Above, sunlight glows bright, but the burrow stays dark and cool. The contrast is comforting. A warm world above, a cool shelter below, and in between, a creature perfectly at ease. The desert breathes, the fox breathes. The world narrows to a soft, steady pulse, one that asks nothing more than for you to simply rest with it. Let the warmth soften. Let the quiet deepen. Let the desert's heartbeat guide you into calm. As afternoon drift across the desert, shadows lengthen in slow motion, sliding down the sides of dunes like soft ribbons of shade. The sun, once fierce and unyielding, begins its gradual retreat toward the horizon, and the world grows quieter. Not dark yet, not cool yet, but softer, as though preparing to exhale after a long, warm day. Inside its burrow, the Fennec fox remains in peaceful sleep, unaware of the shifting light above. Its tiny paws twitch faintly, stirred by dreams woven from moonlight and memory. Perhaps it dreams of wandering through silver dunes, or hearing beetles tap beneath the sand, or watching stars tremble in the night sky. Whatever unfolds behind its closed eyes, the fox dreams without fear. Above ground, the desert begins to loosen its grip on heat. Warm air lifts gently, drifting upward in waves so delicate they look like transparent fabric swaying in slow motion. The dunes release the last of their midday intensity, sighing into the long stretch of evening. It is a world sinking, not downward in heaviness, but inward, toward calm. Imagine standing at the crest of one of these dunes now. Everything around you seems to move, and not move at the same time. The air trembles softly, the sand hums with residual warmth, and the desert, having carried the full weight of sun for hours, finally begins to relax. A tenderness settles over the land. Small birds flutter to shaded hollows, rustling softly as they prepare for night. A single grain of sand falls from a dune ridge and lands without a sound. The wind sighs, long and low, as though releasing the last thread of tension from the day. And beneath it all, the fox sleeps on, curled into itself, breathing evenly. Suspended in a dream world where nothing is urgent, nothing is sharp, nothing needs to be held tightly. As the world above shifts closer to evening, the burrow holds to its coolness. Light filters through tiny cracks in the sand, spreading as a faint glow that never touches the fox directly. It is a cradle of dimness, a place untouched by worry. Perhaps you feel something similar begin to settle inside your own body, that gentle loosening that comes when the day begins to fade. Your shoulders soften, your thoughts drift, your breath slows, matching the easy rhythm of the desert preparing for dusk. There is no need to stay alert now, no need to hold anything up. The world is winding down, and you are invited to wind down with it. You can almost sense the desert folding into dream, just as the fox does, softly, naturally. Guided by the slow settling of light, evening approaches, calm deepens, the world prepares to rest once again. Evening settles over the dunes like a soft blanket, pulling warm light into gentle folds. The heat of the day lifts, floating upward in delicate waves that fade into the cooling air. The sky deepens into a muted gradient, gold at the horizon, then rose, then violet, then the familiar blue of desert night returning once more. Above ground, the desert exhales. Every dune loosens, every shadow stretches, every breeze moves with unhurried grace. The day has ended its long arc, and the world steps quietly into its softer half. Below that vastness, the Fennec fox remains asleep in its burrow, wrapped in cool sand and deep rest. Its tiny chest rises and falls in slow, steady rhythm, each breath a small continuation of the desert's own gentle pulse. Nothing stirs the fox now, not the faint tremble of wind above, not the changing light filtering through grains of sand, not the hush that settles across the land as dusk completes its final shift into night. It sleeps fully, peacefully, trustingly, and the desert holds it, just as it holds the roots of resting shrubs, the eggs buried deep beneath the sand, the dreams of other small creatures hidden away from the cooling air. Everything rests, everything softens, everything folds back into the quiet wild. As darkness spreads, the desert becomes a cradle of slow rhythms, the faint call of a distant nightjar, the whisper of sand rolling down a slope, the first stars blinking awake above the horizon. All of it moves gently, as if not to disturb the tiny fox sleeping below. If you listen inwardly, you may feel your own breath syncing with these rhythms, slow, effortless, unforced. Your body softens the way the dunes soften after sunset, losing their sharp lines, becoming smooth and still. This is the hour when the desert teaches its final lesson. that everything returns to calm. No matter the heat of the day, no matter the distance traveled, no matter the effort expended, life flows outward and then it flows back in. Night after night, the fox wakes, wanders, listens, returns, and rests. The cycle is complete, always renewing, always patient. And you too are welcome to rest in that motion, to let your thoughts settle like sand returning to its place, to let your breath deepen, to let your mind drift towards sleep with the same quiet ease that carries the fox into its burrow. The world is soft now. The dunes are still, the wild is gentle, and as this long desert journey comes to its close, we end with the final lines of sleepy nature sleep, a quiet invitation to drift into the night. Everything flows through the wild. Sleep in that motion.